about two other big Hebraic letters, the letters T and the letters V, and I'm not talking about transvestites.
What are those?
On television, there's only two things that the American public wants to watch. It's disgusting, and them two things are Suzanne Summers' gigantic nipples.
What?
Bursting out through them thin Hollywood t-shirts and jiggling at you on the TV.
I'd rather watch the Broncos, really.
I'd rather watch the Broncos.
Me too, Jerry.
Even if they're losing.
Right.
Or I'd like to watch a good show on ABC, Aloha Maniac.
Oh, yeah.
They do what's right with women.
Yeah, they kill a different girl every week.
But they're all Christian girls.
That's true.
And that's what counts, mental minority.
So long, Jerry. Click. Oh, ain't he something? Ain't he just something?
Now, you see, all Christian services, all Jewish services, are interminably talkative. They really are a complete bore, because they tell God what to do as if he didn't know. His prayers, and especially the impromptu prayers that you get in Methodist churches, where the minister goes on and on and on thinking of this, that, and the other which God has to be told to do. Then when they stop telling God what to do, they adore him with ridiculous religious nursery rhymes called hymns, which, if you will examine the poetic construction of most of them, are absolute doggerel, and the music is sentimental and indifferent, unless it would happen to be composed by Bach or Handel or some important artist. And some of the medieval Gregorian hymns are very beautiful. But the average hymn, like Rock of Ages, Cleft for Me, or For Mine Eyes Have Seen the Glory of the Coming of the Lord, and especially that abomination, Onward Christian Soldiers, just appalling. They're an insult to the Godhead. Then when they're finished with that, the service goes on to tell the people what to do, having told God. And they become a kind of scolding of the congregation called preaching. And preaching never achieves anything except hypocrisy. Because if you have to be scared into the following of God, you're not truly following.
That cat. And for $5 a month, you can get a $60 family subscription to KPFA, and that money will go a long way here. 848 KPFA.
The third caller now on the line. I figure we need 17 more if we're going to reach our $800 goal, and we've only got 7.5 minutes left to do it. Of course, we'd get there a lot quicker. We might not need 20 phone calls if a couple of people would agree to sign up at the old Bill of the Month Club. Now, have you ever heard of, I mean, it's a silly idea. Why would you join a club that gives you a bill every month? Well, take it from me. We don't have any meetings. That's why. Now, if I could join up with something and pay $10 a month, which is what it costs to join the Bill of the Month Club, and not have to go to a meeting in a month, my gosh, I would do it immediately. 848-5732, 848-KPFA, area code 415. We're talking Bill of the Month right now. Sounds like a lot of money, but it's really not. It's only a mere 32 cents a day. That's less than I pay for my first cup of coffee in the morning. And it's probably what you ought to do is give up drinking coffee, and you can join the Bill of the Month Club here at KPFA. Now, we're also talking about giving you...
Okay, Alan, let's see what you can make with this here tape. You can go ahead and, change it around, erase anything, add anything, however you think will make this more creative, more insane. And personally, I think you should start drinking more coffee. Don't give any of your money to KPFA.
Which you might...
Additional chants, or what Hindus call mantra, don't mean anything, or if they did mean anything once, it is not the meaning that is important, it is the sound. So they take, say, the basic to the whole of India is the Sanskrit word Om. And Om is spelled out A-U-M, because it takes in Aum, the range of the voice from the back of the throat to the lips. And so this word is called the pranava. That is the word for the ultimate reality. And so they chant Om. And so they're not thinking while they're doing it that this is the name of the ultimate reality. And this is the symbolism of it, the AUM and all that kind of thing. All that they're thinking of is, that's what it's all about. We are going to have a celebration of the Holy Communion. And I mean celebration. And I don't want anybody coming here out of a sense of duty. If you come here out of a sense of duty, we would rather you stay in bed or go swimming or play golf. But if you want to join in the celestial whoopee of the angels, you're extremely welcome. And you know we put on fantastic rituals. We had incense. We had all kinds of things going. Gorgeous antique music. And I had an acolyte who was my student, and he used to carry the incense. And when we arrived at the altar, we would always burst out laughing because of what we were getting away with it.
Wherever you need it, where you can reach it easily.
Ken Babs, right. Blonde-haired.
Ken?
Oh, that's the guy back there. Yeah. We've already got him on microphone.
Oh, yeah?
No, we've been...
Show you all a game I made up. This game is called Sounds of the Studio, and it can be played with any record, including this one. You can play it you can even play with your favorite record. You may be surprised. Now, if you have a pair of headphones, you better get them out and get them cranked up, because they're really going to help you on this one. Now, I'm sure you all recognize this. This is called Hiss. It comes on records that were mastered lousy or mono reprocessed for stereo or any number of things. This, of course, is hum. Peas popping. This is the sound of bad editing. And here's what happens when the machine gains control and mangles your tape. Punch. Outs. Now all you have to do is find these sounds on the record. And whoever finds the most wins, of course.
Said, we've got some sense in here. Existential leap with Bruce Henderson. Last Tuesday night, I went and saw Third World and Toots and the Maytals at the old Waldorf. Good reggae music and Bill Graham wandering around in the audience, and people pointing at him and saying, "Look, Bill Graham is all fucked up." I went there with Otto Wasson and his old friend and housemate, Ray. We consumed lots of beer. I had to be sly, as I am underage. Ray and Otto met a fellow named Red Mulligan, who was a poet just arrived from Australia and bound for his grandfather's house in Wales. He planned to take the long route across the U.S. and Canada. We all ended up back at Otto and Ray's at 3 in the morning with guitars and bongo drums. Red Mulligan had been shocked to learn that he couldn't buy a beer in California between the hours of 2 and 6.
It's almost over, Jimmy, and we're back where it all began. We're here in No Man's Park, the tiny square of weeds where Ducktown was born. With me here in this field are field reporters, Peter Protector, how do you do? Charles Garage, and that little voice in my ear, our producer, Thatch Switcher.
Thank you, glad to be here.
Well, you're the oldest, Charles. Kick it off.
Well, from here, Ed, I think the big story is visualization. Just look at this sodden postage stamp of ground.
Over there, you know, originally we had a few merchants, some settlers, some pilgrims, some trappers, some soldiers. They all had buckles on their shoes, and the soldiers would have all been in armor.
Just folks.
yes.
Well, over here,
over
there were some Indians, Mohawks, Buttes, and wraparounds, all dressed up and looking like Currier and Ives.
Guardians of this sacred land.
And in between, this sumptuous feast, untouched as yet by hand of man.
I'd like some of that.
Well, the leader of the white man spoke.
Let's swap them Indians,
he said.
The Indians, of course, had nothing to say.
And so, of course, they said nothing.
I think we can agree that was a typical scene, gentlemen, one which was to be repeated thousands of times.
In the thousands of times
to come.
Except...
the first one was different.
Yes.
Well, why did the first one have to be different?
Now, here's the thing. It didn't seem any different at first.
No. You see, one of the soldiers walked over to one of the Indians, and he throttled him like this. Oh, sorry, old man. Well, you can bet that made the white folks in the buckled shoes as proud as punch.
Manifest destiny!
Cried the captain of the ship.
That Indian is good and dead,
said the minister's wife.
A dead Indian is good,
cleverly rejoined the captain of the dragoons.
The only good engine is a dead engine,
said a little boy.
And they all applauded.
And you know they were about to let the little boy eat the Indian's heart.
Yum.
When someone,
I think it was the minister,
reminded them that they were all Christians.
And eating the heart of an Indian isn't really something Christ would do.
No.
Oh, my.
Well, the Indian didn't say anything because...
of course.
He was dead.
Good heavens,
exclaimed the chief of the Indians.
These people not friendly.
Depend on what you mean by friendly,
said the medicine man.
Depend on what you mean by people,
said the chief. And he shot an arrow at the soldier, which bounced off the soldier's armor.
Exclaimed the minister's wife, and she raised her buckly musket,
said the musket,
and a couple of Indians fell dead, clutching their intestines,
which spilled out on this ground.
Well, folks, this really got things going. There was a lot of shooting and dodging behind trees and skulking and so on.
The Indians killed a few settlers.
And these settlers killed a lot of it.
And the feast was still untouched, except for those musket holes.
Yes, and it looked like democracy was being made safe for America.
When,
all of a sudden, gentlemen, a very strange and unprecedented thing happened.
What happened was...
And, you know, this does sound a little strange.
Yes.
Well, what happened was...
Well, all the white people turned into black people.
Like that.
Now, you may think this amazed and befuddled the Indians.
Oh, not so.
All the Indians turned into Chinese.
This was quite a turn of events.
Then, folks, a funny thing happened.
All the settlers took off their buckles and the girdles and started dancing and painting each other, and a few days later, someone...
we think it was the minister.
...said...
What about this war we was a-having?
Well, wait a minute. What was we fighting about?
I think we's gonna take their land.
Oh, that's unthinkable. And besides, what do you mean, their land?
Hey, I dig it. It's no man's land.
Right on.
Yes. Well, you see, after only a short hesitation, the black people and the yellow people got together socially.
Hey, come on.
And a little hanky-panky took place amongst the younger folk.
And everything got sort of blended together.
Yes.
Till one day they all looked around and there was...
nothing.
But...
Indians. That's right, folks.
Absolutely nothing.
But...
Indians.
You see?
And here comes the headline.
The definition of an Indian is...
a white man...
who becomes a black man.
Who becomes a yellow man.
Who becomes a white man.
Who becomes a black man.
Who becomes a yellow man.
Well, some may say that's an oversimplification.
Well, it is an oversimplification.
Yes, I agree, yes.
But from here today, it looks to us like it's better than killing people.
Cogitate, 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 cogitate,